Hi, Tatiana.
Hello.
Thanks for letting you here.
I know. So, where's everybody? Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Astrology Victoria. Basket.
See, that's the overlap. Hi, Tatiana. There we go.
Yeah, overlap. Anyway.
Figure out how to mute YouTube before it pops up. So I think anyways, continue. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome back to Astrology Victoria. Here once again under our magical astro blanket with
beautiful flower, Dulcie.
And Tatiana. And beautiful flower. And why is beautiful flower here today, Dulcie? Why? Do you know why beautiful flower is here today?
I would guess because we're talking about the earth element, but I don't know.
That is actually correct. Bonus points, 1,000 points. Yeah, you hit the jackpot. Yes, we are here today to talk about the earth element, and this is again a very basic. These are the basic fundamental principles of how our zodiac is composed. Is of the elements, and if we understand what the elements really represent at their fundamental level, it's going to be so much easier to just understand astrology at large. And we are beginning with the earth element because without the earth element, nothing really gets tangible in this reality. Not even you're not even real if you don't have connection to the earth element. So we're going to begin with the earth. Dulcie, what can you say about the earth element? And then I will elaborate on that.
Yeah. So the earth element is all things that are tangible, all the things that you can experience with your five senses. And it involves your physical body and everything that you can see around you in the world, the physical world. It involves your clothing, your computer, your money, and your house, physical structures, and we enjoy the earth element because it makes our life better, more pleasant, more enjoyable, and it's all things that that lead to something, that lead to some product of some sort. So we can produce more using the earth element. We can produce, we can have a career because of the earth element. We can have some sort of exercise regimen because of the earth element. So we have our health because of it. We can gain financial success because of the earth element.
Yeah, and have stuff.
We can have.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Dulcie, for that. On a more like metaphysical level, this is where I come in. This is why I have Mr. and Mrs. Flower here. How do you think this appeared? And I can touch it and has this, I can describe it, and it's very, it's solid. I can actually touch it and feel it and sense it. But how did it come from this? It didn't just magically appear like magic flower come in. There was a process, and there was a seed, and information, genetic information, and the seed was planted on the ground, and then there was water needed, other elements, and sun, and so everything's kind of needed, and then slowly it sprouted roots, and from the roots then there was this, and there's this process, and then poof, here it is, and it's tangible. But where did the idea originate? The idea of flower. So we're going to go even beyond that. That's when we go into the other realms of creation. Creation has a variety of methods of coming into reality. And the first thing is that, okay, we're going to go philosophical here. Buckle up, right? Yes, we are connected to a source of infinite creativity potential. I mean, you don't take this as gospel, but it kind of is. But that source of infinite creativity and potential it's just potential, energy, love energy, getting ready to be created. Here in this realm that we live in, that creative energy is grounded by the earth elements, basically the things that make it then tangibly appear as matter. So that idea that's in the ethers or wherever you want to put it, or in the higher mind, or in the collective awareness of this reality, not like being projected, wherever that idea is, that idea first spurs in that realm. But the way to bring it down and then condense into matter through our consciousness or through other consciousnesses, like the consciousness of the actual planet Earth, creates this. The consciousness of Earth created this, right? This flower. But I don't know, Steve Jobs created this. Another conscious being created other things. Somebody created this, right? Where did the idea come from? How did it happen? Because the process of bringing into matter is given by the earth elements. This is a very important concept to understand if we want to live a fully complete experience of reality, whatever reality. I mean, again, if you woke up this morning in your bed and looked around you and felt that you're physical, I have news for you. You are within a reality that requires these kind of rules to play by, and one of them is earth. The elements give us a lot of what this reality here is comprised of. So that's my little spiel about how things come to be. Idea, concretize the idea, and then put in the time to get the idea done. We'll talk about the planets associated with Earth and why it's so important. There's time, there's effort, there's patience, there's a process, and then voila, things happen. This didn't come from just nowhere. This didn't come from nowhere. It had that process, and then voila. So we'll give you some prompts of how to use your own earth energy if you have it, or if you don't have, how you can access more of it everybody has earth energy in their charts. If you don't have it highlighted by any planet, how you can still access your own earth energy to have a very grounded, tangible life that could be extremely fulfilling. Dulcie, what's our next idea about earth?
Well,
talk about?
I guess we should also just cover the fact that the signs Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn are the earth signs of the zodiac. And so, like Tatiana mentioned, there are planets that are associated with the earth element. And this is because of the signs that are earth, and they are ruled by certain planets. So we have Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. We have Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury. And we have Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. So these are all kind of bringing in the earthy qualities into their expressions.
If you have not watched our very thorough videos about the signs, you can go and watch them. We have videos for every single sign. However, we can mention a little bit here, if you're a beginner, how that connection between these three earth signs work. And it's this like triangle or trine or grand earth trine works, which is what makes all this wonderful things possible. It's like, oh, there is a logic to that flow of energy for things to actually manifest tangibly in this third dimensional reality that is comprised of matter that apparently is solid. Right? So Dulcie, would you like to talk a little bit, like just briefly, about Taurus and Virgo and Capricorn?
Sure. So Taurus is kind of the physical matter of our world, our sustenance. It's the food that we eat. Um, it's represented by the bull, so it's slowly kind of plodding along and doing the hard work to create the fields of sustenance, the fields of nutrients. Um, and
Taurus is literally connected to this,
mhm,
the earth, the actual mother earth that produces what we need to sustain ourselves and survive as biological beings. This is very important. That's why we talk in Taurus also about the body, the senses, the sensations, food.
yeah,
Go ahead, Dulcie.
yeah. And then Virgo is also an earth sign, so that brings in the mercurial aspect of it. So I wouldn't necessarily think of Mercury as an earthy kind of planet, but it's incorporating those ideas and then bringing them out into the world and creating order and structure in the physical world.
Efficient systems.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, Tatiana, you have a lot of Virgo, so
I
I'm
do.
I
I can say a lot about efficiency because Mercury in Virgo, and we have mentioned this before in other videos, it's not like Mercury, the function of Mercury in Gemini, which is like just making a mental idea of reality. In Virgo, Mercury wants to make sense of, okay, good, so we have all these ideas, precisely how can we put them into practical, tangible application, even if they're not necessarily creating a product or something that's actually physical. But for example, if you're organizing or structuring let's go to a simple thing. Let's say you have to, you're organizing an event, right? And this organization of an event requires a certain set of things. Oh, I need to get a space, and then what do I do with that space? I need to hire some catering, and I need to do this, and I need to do that. So there's this planning and organization required for it to go well as planned and to be successfully in existence. That experience will be successfully in existence because of the organization. So everything goes in its place, and if it's done in the right order, in the right way, it's going to be massively successful. That's why Virgo, that function of Mercury in Virgo, has this ability to see where things are more logically going to serve the purpose they need to serve in the most efficient way. So in that sense, imagine if you have an event that, you could just go out of luck and say, whatever, we're calling all these people from speakers to talk, and then whatever, and then I don't know, and things show up, and then there's disorganization, miscommunication, there's waste of time, and then it's like, so this is just it's like an example, and this is with a service. But in the same manner, Virgo can structure, organize how to maybe create a product. Like, what do you need to create this? There's a whole set of things, processes, procedures, logic connections, stuff like that. So Virgo finds and tries to perfect systems, all kinds of systems. So with the earth energy of Taurus, that is the connection of logical resources, how we get resources to survive in this biological body. Virgo is also connected to health. So basically, how do we keep the body alive, healthy? And how do our bodies, our physical bodies, are a system. That we have a digestive system, we have a nervous system, we have all of systems. But if we ignore how the systems work, then mayday, mayday, I'm ill, I'm sick. That's why Virgo brings in that, hey, you're alive, your biology is alive, make it work. How do this system work, and give these systems what they need in order to survive, and not only survive, thrive in the most efficient and healthy way. So that brings us to our third earth sign in the trine, which is Capricorn. So Dulcie, what can you say about Capricorn?
So Capricorn is the the earthy sign that kind of brings in the larger structures, the creation of architecture and buildings and one's career, the
Societal structures too.
so, yeah, larger structures, societal structures, and the kind of, again, kind of earthy quality, slowly working hard, diligently, and eventually obtaining that goal. Um, and yeah, yeah, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily more related to the physical nature as Taurus is, or the mental structures that a Virgo person can do, but it's the actual creation of maybe like pottery, or yeah, a house, somebody's house, or an office
Like a
building.
product or something that, yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, Capricorn, because it's represented by the mountain goat that sees the mountain up there, and sees all the steps necessary to bring in that to completion, from the idea, from the seed idea, to the completed product or the completed idea. In Capricorn, the earth energy has that drive. It's the drive that keeps pushing into bringing that process into form without ignoring the process. Capricorn are very good at the process because they can see the top of a mountain. Other signs, maybe other elements, might not be very clear on these how to make, but it's like I said, the example of the seed or the iPhone or a house. Like, you have to first start with the idea, create the blueprint, but then start building it, and that takes time. And this is part of Capricorn's uh Capricorn's what you call that, characteristics. It's a characteristic. It's not good, it's bad. Is that all things that need completion will require time, and in a certain sense a physical input of energy, which we could call effort. But for not putting this as a negative thing, because people might think like, oh, all this work, but it's more like this energy needs to be inputted as time, patience, perseverance. And this is why Capricorn is ruled by our lovely, amazing Saturn, because Saturn gives in the psyche the ability to say, look, these are the rules of, you cannot just miraculously wish the house into existence. Maybe in some other realm where those are the rules, but here on earth, if you wish the house into existence, you're going to have to go out there, get the wood, chop it, and then put it together. And even if it's not very pretty, well, you're going to have to do it. Otherwise, you can still be just, come on, house, 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 house. It's not going to happen. There's even if you have the secret, Dulcie. The secret, that very about manifesting into reality.
Yeah,
Put
yeah.
your dream board out there. However, you can put your dream board out there, and yes, there might be opportunities that life brings you. But if you're like, no, it's just gonna pop up. No, there's gonna have to be some tangible, physical, steps and decisions, and in order for these things to actually come into existence. With this being said, with this earth trine, anything can come into existence if you know how to harness the power of those three energies. Because the first energy, Taurus, as we saw, has that capacity of connecting to the biological instance, and because it's ruled by Venus, it's ruled to the senses, and also there is a love nature, and it's all this yin energy. The whole earth trine, or the earth element, is a yin. We did not say anything about that yet, but the yin, or the feminine, if you want to call it, is a receptive nature. It does not push out to get stuff. It allows things to settle, and it allows the information to be it's not a forced process. When we are in balanced earth energies, things just have their times, things have natural processes. We just have to show up every day, Virgo, and have the goal clear, Capricorn, and then it cycles back to the love I get from doing that. Because Venus is connected to love, is connected to what we love, what we value. So when we find that in ourselves, what we value, what we love, then we put time and effort and the daily thing we're going to do with it every day with the same love, we will see the product, Saturn, you see, and then it cycles back. And the more we see, the more we love, the more we can keep doing it. And that cycles back. That to me is the highest expression of how the Earth Grand Trine functions, if you can see that. Dulcie, do you have anything to comment on that?
No, all good. Yeah.
Awesome. So we do have, so we already saw who is ruling what. And if you're not very advanced, don't worry, because we will be bringing videos on the planets specifically. So just gather this, get this information and get into your physicality and understand if you can just process that much. However, we're going to show an example of a historical character who had a lot of earth energy, and with his biography, what he actually accomplished. Capricorn, as you said, is also linked to those societal structures. So it's the structure beyond just me, because I am part of a structure that functions in a bigger fabric. I cannot just decide that I'm alone without, I just do my own structure here and I'm disconnected from the rest. No, there is interdependence in the Earth's systems. That's why systems are not a bad thing, right? A lot of people may think systems, the system and the system this. Is like, no, it's not the problem is the system, is how we think of a system. And the idea is to improve systems as we go. So this historical character gave us a lot of systems that right now are being actually dismounted for new ones. Who is this character? Drum roll. Wait, drum roll.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Alexander Hamilton. That's from the musical. I'm sorry, I'm just singing here. Would you like to point to the chart a little bit bigger?
Yeah, so let's open up the chart here.
Yeah.
So he was a founding father of the United States. And he has a lot of Earth in his chart. So let's take a look here. So up here in Capricorn, we can see that he has Venus, Saturn, the Sun, Moon, and Mercury all in Capricorn. And then over here, he has Jupiter in Virgo. So that's what, a total of 6 planets in Earth. So that's quite earthy.
And very strong planets too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Sun is huge. The Moon, all of these.
Four of his personal planets.
Yeah.
No, of his core identity as my name is Alexander Hamilton. I'm in this body as the impersonation of Capricorn. Mm-hmm. And with that Jupiter in Virgo, highlighting and sending more energy into expanding the capacity and the ability to ground all these ideas, ideals, and the capacity to work at it, perfect the systems, keep at it. That's So biographically, who is Alexander Hamilton? Well, I'm gonna read a little bit, or not read it, or just say, okay, I watched the musical, that's for sure, and I'm researching the biography. So you can do your own research if you want to go and delve deeper. So, but he was, like Dulcie said, one of the founding fathers of the United States, chief of staff to General Washington. So this is just not whoever, right? One of the most influential interpreters and promoters of the Constitution, the founder of the nation's financial system, that's America, the United States, and the founder of the first American political party. So this was a seed, right? he's a seed, a seed for things that we're seeing today. He was born in 1755, and to this day, we are still playing by rules or systems that were influenced heavily by this character. You know, he was, as a Secretary of the Treasury, Hamilton was the primary author of the economic policies of George Washington's administration, especially the founding of the state debts by the federal government, the establishment of a national bank, you know, and he has Venus in Capricorn, right? So there's value, money, you know, systems, system of tariffs and friendly trade relations with Britain. He became the leader of the Federalist Party, created largely in support of his views, and was opposed by Democratic Republican Party led by Thomas Jefferson and James Madison. Well, and on it goes, but these are like the basics of Alexander Hamilton. He was deeply passionate and driven, even to the extent that he wouldn't even be with his family too much, just because work and duty were more important, because the nation was more important, because creating this new structure as the United States was being created, you know, when it emancipated from Britain, there had to be a whole new structure that needed to be created, and he was there. He was born, incarnated to bring that, and with that North Node in Libra, also to understand fair relation and harmonious, you know, something that he had to probably gravitate more and more towards. And he wrote a lot of law. He was there writing, rewriting law, rewriting system. And that system to this day, we are part of. We probably forgot about it because we live in it. We live in this financial system. We live in this maybe political structure that is still valid to this day. So thank you, Alexander Hamilton, for whatever you helped create and ground on this earth that is being reviewed right now by Pluto. but the point being, this being had that capacity, and not only did he was the expression of it, and that's why we can see it today, that Capricorn energy, you know, systems, political systems, grounded, tangible things that we live by today. So that's a little bit on this character. You can find more information, and if you are good, like if you're more advanced astrologer, you can just relish in this. And if you're not, just, you know, you can read the biography and just stay with lots of Capricorn and Jupiter and Virgo. Okay, that's enough to understand what an earth grounded person can do and create. Dulce, this is our character. And now to the anecdotes of our personal lives and our people around us that have lots of earth energy. Do you have an anecdote?
Yeah, before we do that, I think we just wanted to kind of, you touched on most of it, but just kind of how people, actual humans with the earth element, with significant earth elements in their chart, might be more prone to behave in certain ways. So shall we discuss that and then get into our anecdotes right after?
So how do people with a lot of energy in their earth elements? Oh, and before we go, I know it's a little bit, we're not quite organized in this sense, but if you are new to astrology, you might not know this, but if you do, you know that each element is also associated with a house, you know. So Taurus is associated with the second house, Virgo with the sixth house, and Capricorn with the 10th house. And again, the second house is the same thing as resources. Sixth house is like daily works and routines. And the 10th house is what we create in the world. So it correlates to what we just said. So I just wanted to make a side note in case you're like wondering what's all this, right? And go back and see our videos on the houses if you're really new. Okay, sorry, Dulcie, I cut you. Can we keep going?
All good. So people with earthy qualities are generally more organized and might be more practical and conservative and cautious with their time, with their money, and might prefer to do things the way that they know work, rather than trying something new just for the sake of it. They are more stable and grounded and materialistic. That can be in a good way or in a negative way. It can be, too focused on materialism, or it could be, just creating a beautiful home for their family. That can be both sides of materialism. And they're dependable. They have a sense of duty and responsibility, like Tatiana had mentioned. They're more goal-oriented and are, builders of something, as we've mentioned before. So types of maybe professions that I could see earthy people engaging in are like things like banking and the banking system, just like Alexander Hamilton. He created the entire banking system. Doctors, or like hairstylists, or carpenters and construction workers, and
Accountants.
what's that?
Accountants.
Accountants, exactly. People who handle money. People who just use their hands to create things is a very earthy quality. Yeah. Anything to add to that, Tatiana?
Yeah, I think you said something and I forgot, but what I was like,
Oh no.
yeah. No, that people with they are also very realistic. They're the people with strong earth energy see more value in what's tangibly real in front of their faces than what could be, not really there. So the realism, like really, but again, what's reality? That's debatable. We could go on forever with that. But in this tangible reality, that's what it is. It's like, that's in front of me. I see it. That's that. The end. And it works like this. Beyond all the speculations of what it could be or where it came from, or, so people with strong earth are probably not going to express much a sense of, I'm going to use the word woo-woo. They might be more of a woo-woo phobes than, than woo-woo feels, because it's not there, then it's a waste of time. They're serious about what especially more the Capricorn people. There's some kind of seriousness about, hey, this needs to get done. It's this, it's that. Don't distract me with things that are not here visible. It's a waste of time. We have a limited time on this earth, on this life. So let's just get on with the program. That's a lot has to do with the very basic earth energy is, we're here. We're not elsewhere. We're here. So we might as well make it work here. Now, what you said something about, it could be good, it could be bad, or it could be perceived. In astrology, let's remember that nothing is good or bad. There's no filter for that. It's the filter that we put on it that makes it good or bad. But in essence, it's just energy expressing itself. So that's why we have higher octaves and lower octaves of expression. The lower octave of expression of earth energy is an over attachment to matter. So materialism could be one, hoarding, don't like negating like more spiritual values or emotional values over physical things, being too driven for power and political, not political, but like status, being too driven by a certain status or a need to be on top of others. What else, Dulcie, comes to mind when it comes to the shadow expressions of this energy?
Yeah, I mean,
obsession with order, like
oriented.
OCD, being too obsessed with perfection, That too, like it has to be this way, otherwise it can't be done. What else?
Yeah, just like very money oriented, and that's the only goal. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, money, possession, perfection, and status. But taken to the extremes is the shadow side. And the most positive expression of this energy, I think we already mentioned, is the capacity to be so connected to what we love that we make it real and tangible in this reality by that everyday work. And anything, the most expression of this energy is that anything can be brought into matter. Anything, if it comes from the idea and there's the process is correctly established, that process of that I described, from love to seed to putting in the input, and then harvesting, and then rinse and repeat, and keep that going, that could create huge dreams, huge systems, huge things for the planet. Whether they're good or bad, I don't know. But what Alexander Hamilton did was he created one. Maybe it was good at that time because at that time there was monarchy and there was a different type of oppression. At that time, it was seen as liberating, as free exchange. It gave lots of other options and opportunities. So this is just an example of how to use that energy. We can create anything. And by the way, if you have read Saturn's manual of how to behave on this earth, and learn its rules, that's what gives you the ability to actually do it. So this is like the manual of Earth by Saturn, Mercury, and Venus, brought to you by. And just get in touch with that if you're ungrounded. If, for instance, you don't have much Earth energy highlighted in your chart, because you all have a house where you have your Earth signs anyway. But if it's not highlighted, you can always access it by remembering these principles. So it's not like, oh, I'm just not like that. Well, maybe your basic personality has a different goal in this lifetime. However, if you're having trouble with being grounded and producing something, then either you can ally with somebody who has a lot of Earth energy to create something with your ideas, or you can look within yourself where you could find that. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's a principle we're talking about. So that's that. What else, Dulcie? Little anecdotes and then we're off?
Yeah, sounds good. I know we had discussed before that you like to go touch the ground with your feet, and I've recently started doing that as well, because my feet are never touching the ground. I've always got socks or slippers or shoes on, and it's just, my personal preference. But I'm also incredibly like airy, just in the clouds, and I have a hard time being grounded and and feeling that sense of stability and groundedness. So I've recently started just, taking off my socks every now and then and actually feeling the ground under my feet. And so that it is a totally different sensation. You actually kind of feel more stable, more secure. And if to go outside, it would be even better to go step in the grass. So yeah, as an individual who doesn't have a lot of earth qualities, I'm definitely looking for more ways of being earthy and kind of bringing in that stability. I generally like to keep like my area fairly clean and organized, since everything in my mind is not organized. So that really helps bring that kind of physical stability and lack of chaos.
Then you can associate with your Virgo friends or Capricorn friends or Taurus friends.
Definitely. You are very earthy. Yeah, my partner's
Who could
very
that be,
earthy.
Dulcie?
It makes a
Who
big
could that
difference.
be?
Mhm.
Who could that be? Do you have a Virgo friend, by the way, that
Yeah.
well, I have a a lot of Virgo energy. So my experience with the groundedness is that as much as I'm a very Neptunian being, and I have other very strong planets in other signs and other elements, I have a big charge of Earth. So I feel it in everyday life, how important for me it's to produce something that is useful for the world. That's why we're here. And that's why Dulcie and I are here doing this video right now, because without me sitting down and Dulcie sitting down and researching the material and putting it together and actually doing and taking the time, you're not watching this, and then you don't get the value of this. You see, this is just a very simple explanation of how for someone like me, it's important, and I have it in me to do it. And because there's that drive, so, and I have all these planets in the 10th house, and the 10th house, we said, is the house of Capricorn and house of Saturn. So my natural expression is this, is being here and doing this. And that's just a simple example. My sister also is a very earthy person. She's a Taurus rising, moon in Virgo, and sun in Capricorn. And my sister is one of the most grounded, realistic people I know. She will always question everything before implementing it, to make sure that it's doable, that it's going to be conducive to some kind of greater good or greater system. Like, it's amazing what she does. And she's very, very grounded. So we all need both things. We can dream, but the only way to bring dreams into reality is by using the earth energy. Yeah, that's my little anecdote. Dulcie, anything else before we wrap up our earth video?
I think that's all. Actually, there's speaking of how to bring in that kind of earthy element, there was the first astrologer that introduced me to astrology. I study different astrology than she does, so I don't follow her as much, but she definitely explained astrology in a way that I understood. And she wrote a book on the elements. And I think her name is Deborah Silverman, and it's called The Missing Element, I believe. And it's all about looking at your own chart and what element is missing. So she goes into detail about what each element is like, and then what you can do practically to bring in that element that is missing. So I do remember that book, and it was interesting. It had a lot of good suggestions for, at least I paid attention to the earthy stuff because that's what I'm lacking. So if you're
that's a really good thing, because we can even tell you right now a few little earth things you can do, like little things you can actually practically do. What Dulcie said, if you're feeling ungrounded and you don't have much earth, you can actually go to the earth and work with your hands. So even if you're not drawn to it, you can go and volunteer at a garden, or do some planting, or like actually work with your hands on the earth. That's one way. Walk bare feet on the ground, even if you're like, oh, I don't like doing this, go and do that. Do some kind of body activity, something that connects you to your physical body. Maybe it is some dancing, something that, or some sport that makes you be in your body. What else? When you're eating food, don't eat like on a hurry. Like, do it very mindfully, like feeling and tasting how the food tastes. That's like a mindful practice of like eating. So even just that will connect you to your body and your senses. So it's doing things that connect you directly to your senses. So if you're doing meditation, do walking meditation or moving meditation. If you feel like you're always kind of in the clouds, there's a way to do that as well. You can do it by doing movement meditation or walking meditation. So that's kind of, it's grounding into your body, what your soul is kind of saying. Other things, pay attention to what you eat, like bring awareness to what you put in your body. That's and also pay attention to whether or not you have certain routines. So if you have a trouble organizing things, get a planner or something that can help you organize. And you might dread it, but it's like, okay, this is going to help me. So you can use that. You can use those little prompts if you're needing a little bit more of groundedness, if you have a project and you don't know how to tackle it, try these little practical things, and you'll see that, oh wow, if this actually works, you know. And without stopping, without like letting, without still being yourself with your own everything. It's just little things that earth people have naturally that we can offer you. It's like, just do these things and you'll see it works, because earth, very heavy earth people know these things work in this reality. So why not do it? Okay. And the next thing would be, if you have very heavy earth, leave us your comments on how you are, how you live your life, or how you have to perceive this. Or by contrast, if you have like very little earth in your chart, meaning no planets in your earth houses, how do you live your, maybe that lack of that missing element? We would love to hear your comments about it, and have more interaction on, or how you have made progress with your own earth energy. Yeah. And what else? Well, you know, you can in the link, you can see in the description box below, we'll leave all the links to Instagram meetup. We do talks. We have a lot of things going on, so if you can want to follow us, subscribe, like all the YouTuber things do, you know. That's, you already know the spiel. So what when to say is like, follow us on Astrology Victoria BC, and you'll get more of this informational, instructional, educational, and hopefully this helps you in your life, because ultimately that's what we are here for, right, Dulcie?
Yeah, definitely. And access to other members in the community, other members producing their own content, having, you know, discussion topics to discuss. If you join on Facebook, there are lots of interesting discussions going on there. So
Absolutely.
join in.
So
All
Dulcie,
right.
wrapping it up.
Yeah.
Thanks guys for being here with us. Please feel free to share it, and we're going to go plant some flowers. Bye, Dulcie.